We all know that location is everything in real estate. It is geographically central, actually central, the actual heart of Dubai. Not somewhere on Al Ain Highway, not somewhere further down south or further up north. This is smack in the middle. It actually connects to two major bridges. In terms of what 1 million dirhams actually gets you in Jaddaf right now, the only place that I would vouch for is Jaddaf. So there's a video that went live yesterday with Muhammad Zuhaib and myself, and we talked about investments in terms of equity below 500,000 dirhams in that video, and we have been getting calls and messages ever since. Now, I got one of the clients who says that they haven't invested because they were a little overwhelmed with the pricing, and now is it a good time? Is 500,000 or below 500,000 or 1 million, is it still a good deal? Now, I'm going to address these questions directly. Now, because there is one area in Dubai right now where prices are still accessible and the growth story is still it's still going to start. I think the appreciation curve, we're well before that. And anything that you are looking to invest around the 1 million, 1.2 million mark for a one bedroom and below the 700 or 800,000 dirhams for a studio, the only place that I would vouch for is Jaddaf. Now, what is Al Jaddaf? We all know that location is everything in real estate. So this is our beloved Dubai. I am going to zoom in. Okay, before I do, we know what that is, right? Palm Jabal Ali, Palm Jumeirah, World Islands, Dubai Islands, Maritime City, The Island, wink wink, we'll talk about that a little bit later. But let's zoom in further down. Now, where are we right now? We are in Business Bay, which is right next to downtown. Now, this is where we are. This is where Burj Khalifa is. That's the downtown. Around it is Business Bay. What I'm about to talk about is when I say location is everything in Dubai right now, with the speed that everything is going, it is everything, right? This is our airport, at least for the next 10 years. And I feel personally, in my opinion, it will be more. There's going to be something, they're not going to just get rid of an entire airport. I think it's going to be accessible. It's still going to be in use in some other capacity, but yeah. So that's Dubai Airport. This is downtown. This is Business Bay. Then you have this beautiful piece of land, which is Al Jaddaf. Literally 10 minutes away from downtown, 10 minutes away from Business Bay, 7 to 10 minutes away from Dubai International Airport. It is literally, now this right here is the Dera market. This is where business started back in the day in Dubai, right? You have Dera market and then you have the Bur Dubai markets. These two markets are the reason why, because it was the first piece of land as soon as people came in from the sea, right? So you have Dera market and Bur Dubai market, which is still holding most of the wealth in Dubai in terms of old school, the traditional way of doing business. People still are doing billions worth of business over there, almost on a daily basis. Now, literally, Jaddaf is again 10, 12 minutes away from these locations. So it is not a peripheral area. It is geographically central, actually central, the actual heart of Dubai. Not somewhere on Al Ain Highway, not somewhere further down south or further up north. This is smack in the middle. It actually connects to two major bridges. This right here connects to two major bridges. That is Al Garhood Bridge. This is Business Bay Bridge. Business Bay Bridge is the most used bridge in Dubai, period. The second most used bridge is the Infinity Bridge, which connects, again, Bur Dubai to Dera and Dubai Islands. For years, it was a maritime and an industrial zone. They still have a little bit of that, those warehouses there, but they're going to go away. The population in the early 2000s was just around 3,000 people. Today, it is approaching 30,000 people, with 60% of them being expatriates, and the transformation has already begun. In 2026, it is accelerating dramatically. Why? Let's talk about why. In early 2025, the Dubai government officially opened Al Jaddaf to freehold ownership for all nationalities. 329 plots in Al Jaddaf were included in this conversion. Before that, this area was largely accessible only and only by GCC National. That one single policy decision changed everything. The market is still behind the appreciation curve. Now let me show you exactly what your money gets you in Al Jaddaf right now. The current average price per square foot in Al Jaddaf is 1500 to 1700, 1800 dirhams. Let's compare that just so that you can have a relativity over there. Now we have Jaddaf at 1500 to 1700 dirhams per square foot. Right? Now let's look at its very close by neighbors. We have downtown, which is at 2,770 dirhams on an average. All right. Let's look at Business Bay around downtown. All right. You still have a good mix in Business Bay. So I'm going to say 2,100. You guys can look up these average prices online. And the next beauty I like is Dubai Creek Harbour. Again, Dubai Creek Harbour has seen amazing growth in the last 3 to 4 years, especially post-COVID. The average pricing is around 2,400 dirhams per square feet in Dubai Creek Harbour. Now, why are the prices almost 35 to 40% lower for a location compared to these? For a location that is equally central, it's perfectly located in the middle of everything. Now, that gap does not exist because Jaddaf is inferior. It exists because it has not been fully discovered yet. I have repeatedly in my previous videos, I've been making videos on Jaddaf for about 2 years now, and I've referred to Al Jaddaf and one more area as a sleeping giant. In terms of what 1 million dirhams actually gets you in Jaddaf right now. Studios start at around 650 to 700. I would say the good ones start at around 720,000 dirhams. This is the entry level near the waterfront area. The approximate pricing for a 1-bedroom is around the 1 million mark. In this specific area, and of course that is basically right now the price. The price has increased 12% year on year already compared to last year. Now, with far more catalysts still ahead, studios in Al Jaddaf are currently renting right now at around 65 to 75,000 dirhams a year, and 1-bedrooms are going between 80 to 95,000 dirhams a year. Now that approximately gets you around 6 to 8% rental yield. Now let me address what everyone wants to know. March 2026, regional conflict, global headlines saying Dubai is crashing. Here is the actual data from Dubai Land Department. During Ramadan 2026, which ran through the heart of the conflict period, Dubai recorded almost 15,200 transactions worth over 50 billion dirhams. Compare that to Ramadan last year, 14,300 transactions worth just under 40 billion dirhams. Now that is a 5.6% increase in the volume and 29% increase in value year on year. During the conflict, during Ramadan, during the war. Now, let's look at Q1 of 2026 overall, right? Approximately 176 billion dirhams worth of transactions. And I think off-plan was accounting 70% of those sales. The real estate sector grew by 5.5% in terms of volume and just around 24% in value year on year, comparing March 2026 to March 2025. Now, let's talk about what specifically happened in Al Jaddaf during this period. Al Jaddaf is an inland residential area. It has no port infrastructure, no airport proximity, no logistics exposure. The targets during the conflicts were airports, financial towers, out of which none of these are in Al Jaddaf. So the residential communities like Al Jaddaf, mid-market, domestically driven, with strong end user demand, showed the most resilience out of any segment during the conflict period. While luxury and off-plan volumes softened temporarily, the end user driven mid-market areas like Jaddaf barely even flinched. The UAE Central Bank announced a 1 trillion dirham resilience package on the 18th of March 2026 to ensure liquidity and economic stability. Now, this is the government signaling that we are not letting this market break. Here is where the story gets even more interesting. Al Jaddaf has strong fundamentals, but the next 3 to 5 years will bring three major catalysts that could transform the pricing entirely. Al Ghurair 1 million square foot mixed use master plan has been announced. Now let's talk between 2027 to 2028. The Metro Blue Line Creek extension, a dedicated station in Al Jaddaf connecting directly to the city's main network. Historically, properties within a 500-meter radius of a new metro station have seen 45 to 50% growth in their value within 3 years of opening. The station does not exist yet, but we are still ahead of it. The new station will open. Yes, we are ahead of it, but Jaddaf currently has 2 existing metro stations which are in use right now. The first one is where the waterfront is. Let's talk about this. Now, this entire area is one part of Jaddaf. We have the waterfront part of Jaddaf right here, which has some hotels like the Versace, the D1 Tower, there's one Ellington project coming up, by some projects by Casco, and so on and so forth. Sold out, nothing available. I mean, apart from a couple of here and there. Then this is where the gold mine is, this one right here, because this is where Jaddaf no one could own except GCC nationals. This part of Jaddaf as well had the maritime boat building, boat repair workshops and warehouses, which have been asked to move out, and they're going to develop this complete area. I feel it's going to have really high-end luxury properties coming up over there. However, right now the focus is here, the centrally located, connected to both the main bridges, to major highways directly. This Jaddaf. Now, Jaddaf over here is broken into 3 parts, right? This is one part, this is one, this is one. This is the Latifa Hospital right there. That's not happening. Nothing is moving over there. That hospital is going to stay there, and they're only growing, if anything. Over here, you have the Al Wasl Stadium. Al Wasl is a very well-known and renowned football team, one of the home teams, and their official stadium is here. Their official training grounds are here. There are some really high-end matches that actually happen over here. You have this one here, and then you have this triangle over here. This has been free zone for a while. You still have some really good projects over here as well. However, the metro station is here. That is the first Jaddaf metro station. You have another existing Creek metro over here. So you have 2 existing metro lines in use right now. The extension is only going to add this area to the rest of the blue line. All right, let's look at the next one, which is from 2027 to 2030. Etihad Rail, the Al Jaddaf station. Yes, you heard it right. High-speed rail connecting Al Jaddaf directly to Abu Dhabi, to Al Maktoum Airport and beyond. Properties near the Etihad Rail stations are projected to see almost a 30% capital appreciation once the network is up and running. Enough said, let's talk about 2030. Urban Technology District. Confirmed government plan. Al Jaddaf transformed into a technology and innovation hub. 4,000 new jobs being created within the district, cultural landmarks, smart infrastructure, sustainable design. I mean, this is what Al Jaddaf becomes by the end of the decade, which is not very far away. Every one of those catalysts is confirmed, not speculative, not in thought, it's confirmed. These are government-backed plans already in motion. Analysts are currently forecasting between 15 to 30% price appreciation in the coming years based on purely infrastructure pipeline. Now, investors who enter the market before these catalysts activate, they will capture the full curve of the appreciation. All right, let's get practical now. Let's talk about off-plan and ready and compare a few of those pointers, right? Let's have off-plan over here and we have ready over here. Now, firstly, let's talk about entry point. For studios, we have approximately off-plan, we have around, let's say around 730K as of now. Let's look at one bedrooms. Approximately, let's say around 1.1 million. An average good one bedroom at the moment. You do have some options at 1.35, 1.6, 1.8. Again, it depends on the view, depends on how big they are, it depends on the floor and all of that. Now, let's look at entry point for ready over here. So entry point for studios in a ready is approximately 850 to 900K. Right, one bedrooms anywhere between 1.3 starting at around 1.28, 1.3. I've just rounded it up to 3 right now. So we have both of these starting entry points. Then let's look at the payment plans. Over here, obviously it is payment. You have to pay 100% because it's ready, or you have to have a mortgage ready. Over here, you get a flexible payment plan, especially now in this market. We've been negotiating some really good high leverage payment plans. So the payment plans over here, the average you want to catch is around 50-50. Now the wait period over here is approximately 2 years. You have to wait at least for a 2 to 3 year period. 2 to 3 years. So you have 20% that you'd give down payment right now, and then 10%, 10%, 10% over the next, say, 6 to 8 months between each installment. That gives you a long runway. And then on handover, you can either get it financed or you can pay the rest of it off. It's not going to be as much anyways. Over here, you get it immediately, right? So with ready, you have it immediately. Over here, you have to wait for a few years. Now, the one thing I personally do not like about all of that, just one thing. I mean, I like to have an immediate handover. I like to get immediate cash flow. Yes, I understand. However, we don't get a lot of choices when it comes to ready units. There's not enough choices there because you will have one unit that's facing a certain building or it's facing a certain view or it's on a certain floor. You can't choose. You don't have the luxury of choosing. And secondly, you are already paying the current owner the premium that he has waited or she has waited during the construction period. So they've made a certain amount of premium. Over here, you're going to make that premium while you wait for the next 1 or 2 years or 3 years, depending on which project you go for. And your property increases in its value. You're not just sitting there for 2 years doing nothing. Your property is actually making you money by growing in value. Because let's be honest, you look at the map in the background, you don't have a lot of plots available. There are plots in Jaddaf that have been sold 3 times over since its first transaction. 3 to 4 times over. I've seen some of these transactions with my own eyes. The value of the land itself alone is growing. Now, with the new conversion in 2025 of all nationalities owning, people are going nuts. People who at least live there. Like I live in Jaddaf. I see a new hoarding almost every week. When I say new hoarding, I'm talking about a new project which has been confirmed, finalized. Most of the GCC nationals are holding on to their properties in Jaddaf. People who already have their buildings in place, they already have a good rental portfolio. They're not letting it go. They don't want to let it go. They want to hold on to it because of the sheer cash flow potential of the area. Let's look at the rental yield. Over here again, we're talking about between 6 to 7.5% in terms of your rental yield. Over here, you might cross the 10% mark because by the time it is ready, it is handing over, the rent value is already going to climb. Let's talk about risks over here. The biggest risk that I see in off-plan is a delay in the construction for whatever reason. Now, RERA allows up to 12 months of delay provided that the developer proves that it was a serious issue or whatever it was. But anything after that, anything unnecessary, the developer has to pay the investors a certain amount every single year, every single month of that delay. So that's the only thing I see in terms of a risk is delay. But you can mitigate that risk by investing with a good developer. Over here, the risk is pretty low, but then again, you don't have choice. So that kind of cancels each other out. Now, we spoke about the risks between both of them. Let's talk about what are these best for. Off-plan is best for you if you want to get the capital growth for the first 2 years during the construction, first 2 to 3 years, and B, which is the ready, would give you instant cash flow. You can get the unit, you can directly rent it out, and you can start earning your 6 to 7.5 or 7.8% rental gross income right now. And I think we've covered most of it. If there is something that I've missed, just mention it down in the comments below and I will respond to you. Here is the nuance specific to Al Jaddaf in 2026. Because the freehold conversion only happened in 2025, many of the best off-plan projects in Al Jaddaf were launched only in 2025 and of course 2026. That means the off-plan pipeline here is genuinely new. You are not buying into a market which is saturated with old projects. You are getting in early into the wave of quality developments in an area the government has just opened up. At the same time, there are solid ready units available in Jaddaf, particularly the waterfront and the cultural village sub-areas that offer a strong they offer good rental yields, immediate rental yields. You can look at approximately around 6 to 7% as of right now, as of day one as well, in some of those units. Now, both paths work in Al Jaddaf right now. The choice comes down to your timeline. Off plan, if you want maximum appreciation, ready, if you want the income from day one. Now, let me be direct about who Al Jaddaf is the right fit for right now. First-time investors in Dubai. If you have been priced out of your downtown, your business bay, your marina, Jaddaf gives you that central location, strong fundamentals, and the real growth catalysts at an entry price point. Now, those areas, they don't offer that price point anymore. Jaddaf does. Now, expats building a long-term base. Now, Al Jaddaf aligns with the UAE government's First Home program, where the developers allocate a portion of their units at a reduced price for buyers intending to live in the property. This is not just an investment market. This is a community forming in real time. Investors who missed 2021 till 2024. The areas that surged, downtown, Marina, Palm, are now or near maturity. The capital appreciation curve in those areas are significantly moderated. Al Jaddaf is where downtown was before downtown became downtown. So you are not late to Dubai, you are early to Al Jaddaf. A gross rental yield between 6 to 8% in a central waterfront location with a growing population, new infrastructure, and a strong tenant demand from Healthcare City, from DIFC, and also downtown workers who want to live nearby. It's 10 minutes. It's competitive on a global level. Let me summarize everything in Jaddaf with numbers that matter. Studios starting around 720,000 dirhams. One bedroom starting around 1.1 million. Price per square feet is 35 to 40% lower than its neighboring downtown, Business Bay, or even Dubai Creek Harbour. Prices are already up 12% year on year because the major catalysts arrived. 329 plots, now freehold. You, me, everyone can own over there. You have a 1 million square foot master plan coming up over there with the same architects that designed the Petronas Towers. You got a new metro line extension coming up over there. You have the new Etihad Rail station coming up in Al Jaddaf. And of course, the analysts have forecast 30% further appreciation. I personally think is going to be higher. Now, through all of it, Al Jaddaf's mid-market residential segment held firm during the conflict. The period that rattled everyone else where people were running, people in Jaddaf didn't flinch. Not because they were lucky, it's because it's an end user demand. The panic is not the sentiment that the people of Jaddaf felt. Al Jaddaf is the answer to any conversation at this time. The entry point is still here and it is not going to stay here for very long. If this video has been useful to you and you want me to break down any other areas of Dubai or Abu Dhabi or UAE for that matter, just drop that specific name down in the comments below. And if you want a report that we have prepared where I've gotten all these numbers on Jaddaf and you want me to send that to you, just click on the calendar report or DM us or put it down in the comments below. Thank you very much.